So before we get into today's video, I want to give a shout out to a must-read for any Christian. It's the book Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Lewis is a brilliant ex-atheist intellectual. He became a Christian and actually one of the greatest defenders of the faith. He brings a brilliant yet easy to read and understand depth to the Christian faith. His book is really not specific to any denomination, but rather explores the ideas that generally unite all Christians. It's really a must-read. If you have never read this book, go to Amazon right now and look up Mere Christianity and either get an audio or paper copy today. Do the words we use matter? What effect do the words that we use have on how we think about the world? I often think about the story of the Tower of Babel and how our inability to communicate can cause confusion and conflict. Recently, someone shared a clip with me from the Whatever podcast. Now, in this episode, a Christian woman named Candace Owens was having a conversation with a group of women who engage in online prostitution, or what some people are now calling sex work. One of the women in particular considers herself a sex therapist, an expert in sexual matters. And by taking on the label of expert therapist, she came up with some really interesting ways to help her clients' marriages.
Wait, just one point of clarification. So you're a sex therapist?
As
Yeah.
sex workers, we're basically sex
I mean,
therapists.
I don't have a
okay.
counseling degree. I have a master's degree in
Actually,
education.
we have
I'm
an
a teacher.
article. You recently kind of went viral. Nick, can you pull up the article? New York Post.
Yeah, people
New
went
York
crazy.
Post. I'm a sex therapist. I sleep with clients to save marriages.
Oh my gosh.
Notice the appeal to scientific and professional categories. Is this accidental, or are they using these words and categories to morally legitimize what they do?
There's a lot of different psychological needs and reasons why people would want to come and work with professional sex worker.
Sure. Candace, it seemed like maybe you had something
I think
on
it's the
this.
most outrageous thing I've ever heard. It's so in the realm of like dragons and mythological creatures that it's hard to respond to. The idea that she's saving marriages, it's just.
You're
in disbelief.
I'm actually
Here's another
in utter
belief.
disbelief that she is saving marriages.
Here's another example.
Sure.
Okay.
So and there's multiple clients that do this, where the wife will not have sex anymore. She
Right.
went and said, look, when they were courting each other, she was down for sex. She was a sexual person. She was all about it. Then let's fast forward, they're married. We're married now, contract solidified. I don't want to have sex anymore. Ooh.
So you're not saving marriages, you're helping people to keep up a farce that they are in a marriage. Because at the very moment that you let someone else into your marriage, it's no longer a marriage.
No.
Ooh, I think this is the heart of the issue. Here we have women that are using the word marriage, but they have totally different notions about what a marriage is. Do you see how this might happen in other contexts? Does this matter at all? Does it matter what we think of when we think of marriage?
Yeah,
And
these
guys will
women,
come in-
so to
these
say,
women have turned
guys-
around and said, I will allow you to see a professional.
so they are not
so-
in a marriage. That's the
Well,
point.
they're married,
As soon as
Or
you lend
some of
your
their
spouse
wives
out,
are like dying from cancer and this, that, and the other. And
If I'm dying from
Is even-
cancer and
and
my
somebody
husband
sleeps
goes
with
to
somebody
sleep with somebody, I
else,
swear to God.
And
There
their
are
husbands,
wives
their
that are-
wives
Wait,
are
guys,
the
one at a
ones that
time.
come.
Hold on, just one at a time, please. Go. Candace, were you?
I just would like to make the point that at the very moment that you loan your spouse out, especially if you're dying of cancer, so that they can get off, you're no longer in a marriage. So it's just a farce. It's like it's a comical. You're pretending for people that you're in a marriage, that you're in a loving relationship. That's not what a marriage is.
But what could be more loving than allowing your spouse to do whatever they want? Do you see how when a term like love is altered to mean unconditional affirmation and marriage is redefined to simply mean some kind of legal agreement that does not even require sexual fidelity, how you can alter the very concept of marriage in very substantial and significant ways?
So to say that I help marriages, no, you help destroy marriages, and they can go out and say that we're still married because what we've done is we've essentially said, you take care of this aspect of the marriage. It's like saying you raise the kids, you have sex with him. This isn't a marriage. It's the whole thing is fake, right?
What do you think that they should
I'll bring
do?
you in next.
What do you think that
They should work on their
circumstances-
marriage together. The union between a husband and a wife should work on their marriage together to fix it. You don't bring out an outside person to sleep with your husband
But
or
if
your
she's
wife.
saying, I'm not down for sex,
Then she
I
might be
want
down
you
for a
to- I want to
divorce.
outsource.
Candace makes a good point here. Why not just get a divorce? Why not simply be honest and recognize that you are no longer married? Why do people insist on corrupting and altering concepts like marriage?
I don't think that it's up to any of us what constitutes a marriage because every relationship is different.
Ooh, she said the quiet part out loud. Increasingly, we live in a post-truth society. We live in a society where words mean whatever you want them to mean, and thus no one knows what each other are talking about. Marriage no longer describes a particular kind of relationship. It means whatever you want it to mean. But this sort of thinking goes far beyond just concepts like marriage.
Is
Like
that a
saying,
cross
It
necklace?
doesn't constitute,
Yeah,
like, what do you,
Wait,
yeah.
okay, really quick.
Not everybody's
Since
religious.
we're talking about religion really quick. Okay, you have a cross necklace, but then your shirt says "Made in Hell."
Yes,
Can
it
you,
does.
I'm a little confused.
Ironic,
Can you?
I mean,
I'm a little confused.
the stone is red, so it matched,
But why are you wearing a cross
Are
on
you
your
color
neck?
coordinating with your necklace?
because I don't see a cross as religious, so
Okay,
I
just
thought
like you
necklace
don't
was
see a
cute.
marriage as religious. So these
I don't
words
think that a
they don't
marriage-
have meaning. This is why it's like we're at a stage where people are like, "What is a woman?" Because they just go, "Well, we're going to call it a marriage, but we're going to sleep with other people. We're going to bring in prostitutes. We're going to outsource raising the kids, or we're never going to have kids." You're calling it a family. It's not a family, and this is what it is. The words have no meaning, right? I'm wearing the cross. Why? I don't know. I don't think of it as religious.
Do you see what's going on? When our words no longer point to something specific, we, like the people building the Tower of Babel, lose the ability to productively engage because our language ends up making things less clear rather than more clear.
Cross.
Okay, and you're saying that the religious aspect of marriage is the only thing that matters. It's not, because people don't follow what you believe.
Yeah, we know. But is any belief about marriage any better than any other? You see, in a world of moral relativism, no conception of marriage is any better or worse than any other. But is that true? Is there nothing unique or special about the bond between a man and a woman, totally committed to each other above all else, physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Is there nothing socially advantageous to such unions? You see, a follower of Christ does not live in a morally relativistic world. We have words that point to sacred things like marriage, chastity, family, man, woman, etc. And the redefinition of those terms serves to corrupt how we think about those sacred things. Think about what it means to profane something. To profane something is to corrupt it, to alter it from what it is in its pure form. It's like having dirt sprinkled all over your birthday cake. We have to realize that we are in a spiritual war to try and preserve certain ideas and notions as sacred from the forces that would corrupt them. The corruption of language connected to sacred things is the corruption of those sacred things. I think President Nelson said it best.
Worldly trends to define marriage in some other way would sadly serve to destroy the institution of marriage. Such schemes are contrary to the plan of God.
I hope we can remember this and not give up the linguistic battlefield. The words we use and their meaning actually matters. So do you enjoy the content here on Thoughtful Faith? If so, be sure to hit the notification bell. This ensures that our new videos show up on your feed. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook group called Thoughtful Saints, where myself and others discuss the sorts of topics found on this channel. And lastly, if you think other people would benefit from this video, please be sure to share it.